Senior Hour, which is sponsored by Comfort Keepers in Home Care and Santa Clarita Hearing Center. I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host,
Dr. Jean Dorio.
On your hometown station, 98.1 FM, AM 1220, KHTS. This is a show for, about, and by seniors, giving information to enhance one's quality of life. And speaking of seniors, our one and only Kevin MacDonald, the head honcho at Bella Vita, our beautiful senior center. And good morning,
Welcome,
sir.
Kevin.
How are you?
Good morning to both of you. Nice to be here.
Okie dokie, what are we talking about today?
Whatever you want to talk about, Barbara, there's a lot going on.
Oh, I'm sure there is. Now, you're still not completely open, are you?
Nope, no, our building's still closed.
When is it going to open?
We don't know yet. We really don't know yet.
Hopefully June 15th?
No, it won't be June 15th. I can promise you that. I'm sorry.
It won't?
Now, what we're going to do is we're going to open up safely and appropriately, and we'll listen to our county officials as we go forward in public health. Because seniors, during the pandemic, we're the most vulnerable population, as we all know.
That's
so
true.
we have a lot of people planning and organizing for when we do reopen, and we'll let people know with advance notice about that. We do hope to get some classes going, at least partially filled this summer sometime, and then we'll wait for public health to open up our big congregate dining, because you really don't, the dining experience is something different. So.
Well, that's very true.
And,
very true.
But in the meantime, I think the thing to really concentrate on is all the other things that are going on. So when people say, when are you open, I want to say, have you gone to the events yet? Because the parking lot has been rocking at Bella Vita. And if you haven't shown up, you're missing some treats, and everything's free. So,
No kidding.
I mean, the counter to when are we opening, we're sort of open in that parking lot.
Yes,
So
yes,
you should have heard,
yes.
Desperado came, and they did the Eagles tribute band. The place was just rocking, and people were dancing all over the place. And then we did bingo last week, and we had 116 people show up for bingo in the parking lot. They had a great time. They got some fantastic prizes from local restaurants. And so there's activity going on. You do have to drive over and come and join us safely in your car. And actually, in some of our events, we're able to let people get out of their car, stay in their parking lot kind of spot, and enjoy the weather too. So. And we have a lot of events coming up as well. So take advantage of what we're offering, take advantage of our meals, and a little patience on the reopening. We'll do it at the right time with the right counsel as we go forward. We want to protect our folks the best we can. And things are moving fast. We understand that. But we're going to let society move fast and protecting our seniors a little bit slower.
Yes, that's true. Now,
I agree.
Taking care of seniors, what does your home-delivered meals program look like?
It continues to go gangbusters. They were doing almost 775. We have 17 cars going out every single day, 22 cars going out every single day. It is amazing what goes on there with 110 volunteers. So they're doing an incredible service, and they're meeting the seniors out there and taking care of them. The other thing we are looking for, though, is as time progresses, we're looking for Meals on Wheels drivers again, and we're looking for people to give us at least a 6-month commitment and pick up 1 day a week. It's about 2.5 hours. I was just describing it to someone. You come to the senior center, you pick up one of our nice cars, and you deliver about 35 meals a day, and just pick a special day. And some husband and wife teams are doing it. Some retired folks are doing it. It gives them a purpose, and we're all looking for 1 day a week. It just has to be consistent, and you have to be a good, safe driver and be friendly to our folks out there to deliver the meals. But that program is going pretty steady. So, and we've had some great people during the pandemic deliver, and some of them are going back to work. So we have some openings for the Meals on Wheels drivers. You can call the senior center, and we can hook you up to have an experience of a lifetime. It takes a good commitment, though, but it is an experience of a lifetime that everyone should do once in their lifetime.
I could not agree more. And I did it. It was one of my favorite volunteer jobs. It really was. Because the looks on those seniors' faces when they see you walk to their door with their lunch was unbelievable. And they wanted to chat. We were able to get out for a few minutes, stay there for a few minutes and chat with them, which was so rewarding. It really was. And of course, when I did it, we didn't have all this garbage going around.
Right. But then
So,
we also have an option though for people who are not totally homebound and need to get out is our drive-through. So we're encouraging some of our people in our Meals on Wheels who have been homebound for so long to come to our drive-through, and that is an experience every day in itself. Everyone's dressed in Disneyland costumes today.
wonderful.
And there's piano out there. They're playing the songs every day, and then music is out there every day. And over 400 people are still coming to the drive-through to pick up lunch. That drive-through is going to continue for a very, very long time, regardless of when we open. There'll be a drive-through option for our seniors to pick up their lunch every day,
Oh, wow.
in the safety of their car. So we're not going to stop. Most of the things we're doing, we're going to just continue. But if they do need that as an option, you have to be age of 60 or older to get a meal, and there's no income requirements. It's just 60 and older, and you need a meal, and we can sign you up.
Wow. Oh, maybe
Well, you know,
I,
I
maybe I
still-
won't fix lunch anymore and just come over and get a meal.
Good idea. But you know, Kevin, the most astounding part of what the senior center is still doing are the number of meals that are being provided right now by the senior center. And, you know, I always like to hear those numbers because I just can't believe how many meals you're providing. Now, think about this. Too often we have had those senior individuals, they were tucked away, locked away, not being able to go to the grocery store sometimes even, but the senior center came through to provide them with the nutrition that they needed in order to survive. So survival has been key here in Santa Clarita, but Bella Vita, our senior center, has done a phenomenal job. So, you know, you mentioned 775, but it goes beyond that. I know you're providing over 1,000 meals a day in some way to not only Santa Clarita, but the Antelope Valley. Give us those numbers again so I can keep writing these down and spreading the word what you guys are doing.
Well, come June, since we started the pandemic March 16th in our eyes, which was a Monday, we kind of know those dates. They're ingrained forever of when everything started for us. In June, we're going to be hitting a mile mark of 1 million meals served. 1 million
Wow.
since the pandemic started by the SCV. That's our Antelope Valley and Santa Clarita Valley divisions together. 1 million. So there's your number for the month. And
Wow.
that's a million meals. That's a million, all those cooks cooking and accounting were doing their job, and our social workers working with people, and our Meals on Wheels teams scheduling drivers and getting people out there. So 1 million meals served, and so many people are behind that. So it's really, really nice.
Well, it's interesting when Russ was so ill and I didn't feel good one day, and I called the senior center to see if they would deliver a meal, and they did. They did for 2 days, and that one meal fed both of us.
Mm-hmm.
There was that much food in it.
We believe in Italian portions, okay?
Boy, I tell you, it was amazing. You're right.
Yes, we believe in, because you know why? I'm not sure if that's their only meal for the day. So I hope we give them more than just for a lunch. I hope they can use it for dinner or for the next day. And that's an important part of this whole thing is I'm just not sure what they had for breakfast. I'm not sure what they're having for dinner. So let's give them a really bountiful
good
meal. So
meal.
it's not just one meal in our eyes. It's that personal touch, but it's also a full meal. And that's what we try to do as often as we can.
It is. It's a big meal. I was just astounded when I saw the amount of food in there. And I thought to myself, Russ can't eat all of that.
No, that's why you
No.
can share it with somebody else. That's the
So
party on with Meals on Wheels. You know,
He shared it with me.
Well, good. That's appropriate. How appropriate is that? That's just wonderful.
But it's also nutritious. It's also
Yes.
tasty.
Well balanced.
You know, people don't. Yeah, it's you know, really people don't understand the value of eating good food, and you know, we worry about fast foods and the negative effects it might have, but this is healthy.
No, you should see
And,
the menu. We just
it-
finished the menu for June, and everything's on there from salmon several times
Wow.
to Father's Day Angus burger. I'm not sure how healthy it is, but that's a good burger. So we have that the day before Father's Day, and so yeah, we have a great nutrition team, and we're regulated by the county a lot. So the Center for Nutrition Services looks at all of our menus and recipes and make sure they're fairly healthy.
Well, I
And if
would
we
say they
sneak
were
a
healthy.
brownie or a cookie in there, don't tell the county.
But you know, there has to be a little bit of sweet in
There has
there
to
for
be.
our seniors.
That's
you
right.
know? That's why we put on pounds like we do.
That's right.
Oh,
So,
Well, Kevin, tell us what's the next biggest event that's coming up?
well, we did want to make a nice little announcement. We've just received an award, and this goes out to a lot of people. The National Council on Aging. It's kind of like the National Organization for Senior Centers. Just announced last week, breaking news that we won first place for providing special events during the pandemic in the country. So we came in
Wow.
number one in the
Wow.
country for special events. And that's a tribute to our staff and our volunteers that have been doing it every single weekend. We're there every weekend. And so we're so pleased that the national organization was able to see what we're doing here in Santa Clarita
Yes.
and able to let the staff and the volunteers know that what they're doing, how important that was during the pandemic every weekend. So from comedy clubs to our concerts every weekend to movies to the drive-through experience to so much more that's going on because we didn't want to stop. So we're very, very pleased with that award. And it's really an award for all of Santa Clarita who have supported us. The
That's
city
very
supports
true.
us all the time with these events in the county, and they've worked with us to make them happen from the drive-throughs. It's the county and the city and the senior center and the community just coming and enjoying what we're offering. So on the heels of that, we have some special events continuing coming up.
Yes.
So
Okay.
we
okay.
have the Comedy Club is coming on June 5th, the first Saturday in June. So after Memorial Day weekend, we're kicking again. Bingo is on June 8th. It's a Tuesday at 2 o'clock. That's selling out. Oh, my goodness. And then we have another live concert, Jumpin' Jack Flash, and it's a Rolling Stones tribute.
ooh.
And
Oh,
that-
my
And
goodness.
that's at 5 o'clock, a little later in the day for us because it's getting cooler. I mean, it's going to be a little cooler then. So 5 o'clock in the parking lot. These things are free. We're just offering them to our seniors to come out. And, we had the Eagles. We got Jumpin' Jack Flash with the Rolling Stones. Upcoming, we got the Beatles. And then we got ABBA coming in October. Not the true bands, but the tribute bands.
Yes.
And how lucky we are to be able to have these offerings for everybody and to offer them for basically free for everybody, which is nice.
Terrific. Now, what is your next fundraiser, and when is that coming up?
That's, a lot of nonprofits do a lot of fundraisers. We have a main fundraiser, as you know. So that's why we push this one. And it's that weird name, which if you're from out of the area, you're not sure what it is, but it's called Celebrity Waiter. And it's a wonderful dinner that we're providing on July 17th under the stars, completely outside. It's our first totally outside event in that regard. In our courtyard and our surrounding grounds, we're doing the planning today. It should be a beautiful night, and we're asking people to sponsor a table. They can call us at the Senior Center and find out the information, and you get a table for your organization or your business and say, I'm going to support the Senior Center. This is one way to give back, to help us fund our private nonprofit organization, to make the ends meet, to support the Meals on Wheels program. And the celebrity waiters, as we call them this year, are going to be Meals on Wheels drivers that have gotten us through the pandemic.
Oh, you're kidding.
No,
That is wonderful.
So we're going to honor them this year and honor that. And that's, so if you're an organization, if you're a corporation, you say, I want to support the Senior Center, I want to give back, hey, buy a table at Celebrity Waiter and come and join us for a beautiful night. It's an Italian night under the stars. So the theme is Italy. So you can imagine the costumes that will be coming out and the decorations for the tables will be coming out. But the Italian theme from all walks of life, from Julius Caesar to you can imagine.
I can't imagine.
So anyway, that's
Well,
our theme.
now
So-
individuals can also purchase tables.
yes,
not
individual.
not just
you're right,
companies and corporations.
because there's an individual sitting right in front of me that just ordered a table. So thank you, Barbara Cochran. And Barbara bought a table from us, and she's one of our main sponsors for that. So thank you very much for doing that.
Thank you.
Yes, and Miles from Comfort Keepers is following us on today, and he's also bought a table already. So we got an organization, you have an individual, and that's great. So we appreciate any support we can get for.
Well, I will always support the Senior Center
Yes.
because my husband was one of the founders, if not the.
Absolutely, and you're sharing that with the rest of the community. So we thank you for doing that.
Absolutely, yeah. Russ was. Oh my goodness! Look who's out there. Miles is actually coming in.
That's great.
Good heavens!
He's going to come here, and then he's going to get ready for Celebrity Waiter. He knows that.
It is so
And
good to get.
speaking of Miles coming in, and he's part of an extraordinary team for caregivers. And this Saturday, there's a special event we're having just for caregivers at the Senior Center. We're going to treat them to some live, wonderful music in our parking lot, to the people who have really taken care of folks at home. So it's to the caregivers to reinforce them. So we have a special guest speaker. We have some special music for them, a free lunch for them. And they have 60 or 65 cars coming out to just spend an afternoon.
Wow.
So we can say thank you to the caregivers. So if they're not coming to the event, maybe this is a good time this week to thank the caregivers in your life, or people that you know. Giving care to people during these times are so important, to reinforce them and pat them on the back and just thank them for giving care to somebody else when others can't.
Yes, and many, many
Absolutely.
times that's children
Yes.
of
Yes.
their parents. Many times. Probably more often than not,
Yes.
as far as caring for an elderly. It's usually the children who do it or make arrangements to have it done.
And isn't this the time to say thank you?
Yes, it is.
And just
Absolutely.
And that's why we're, it's in our eyes, it's Caregiver Weekend at the Senior Center, but it's also supported by all the organizations which provide support to the caregivers and help them make their life a little bit easier.
Yes, yes, yes. So that is going to be a very special event.
Yeah.
And it's going to be under the stars.
This is for this
Celebrity Waiter.
Celebrity Waiter, yes.
Yes.
Celebrity Waiter is totally under the stars. Tables outside, the beautiful courtyard. It'll be dressed in Italian fare and Italian food and everything else. It should be just a wonderful night.
Well, now, you're having it just in the courtyard, or you're having it in the parking lot?
We have plans. It'll be in the courtyard and the surrounding areas, and you'll never know what hit you there. It is the plans are to be an Italian festival. It'll be gorgeous. And
I'm really
special
looking
songs
forward
are
to it.
coming in. Maybe some violinists coming in. It'll be a night to remember. So bring your organization, bring your family. But this is the time to do it. July 17th, under the stars at Bella Vita. Bella Notte at Bella Vita.
Yes, there we go.
And, we started off by being disappointed that the Senior Center is not open, but it is open. It is open. It's providing food. It's fundraising, helping caregivers. It's doing everything still, despite the fact there's a so-called quote-unquote closed sign on it. It is still open, and it's still providing everything our seniors need for this community. Thank you so much, Kevin, for doing what you're doing.
Thank you. It's our pleasure.
Now, how can our seniors get in touch with you?
You know the phone
if
number, Barbara.
necessary, yes. It's in the You'll Never Leave, 661-259-9444. And is there anyone in particular?
They can just ask. They're ready to receive your calls for Celebrity Waiter or whatever help you may need.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
My goodness, it's coming up quick. Although, what was it, year before last, didn't we have it in February?
Yeah,
was
we
it?
were the last event before the COVID hit.
Yes, that's
Yep,
right.
yep.
Now I remember that. My goodness.
So let's, hopefully this will be another sign of reopenings.
Absolutely. Wouldn't that be wonderful? Woo! Thank you so much, Kevin, for joining us
Thank you, Kevin.
It's this afternoon. It's not this morning anymore.
That's okay.
I keep wanting to say this morning. Anyway, it was good to see you again.
Thank
Take care
you
of
for your
yourself.
support, Dr. Jean.
Yes.
Thank you for your support. We couldn't do it without both of you.
You're very welcome. But no, listen, winning that National Council on Aging Award, that is tremendous. And I am not surprised. You guys are on the forefront around the country, around the world. Thank you so much, Kevin, for everything you have done and all the people over there that are helping you out as well. Thank you.
Absolutely. I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host, Dr. Jean Dorio, on your hometown station, 98.1 FM, AM 1220 KHTS.
We salute our veterans who sacrifice for our freedom. Every week, we share an inspirational story of a local veteran on our Hometown Heroes page at hometownstation.com. Thanks to our good friends at Eternal Valley.
I'm Richard Nunnally, General Manager of Eternal Valley Memorial Park and Mortuary. We believe taking care of each other is what community is all about. We're proud to bring you the stories of our hometown heroes.
Eternal Valley, life well celebrated.
Visit hometownstation.com, sponsored by Eternal Valley.
Olive Terrace Bar and Grill is the hottest new Mediterranean fusion restaurant in Santa Clarita with unique delicacies like seafood right off the boat, mouth-watering prime steaks, artesian sandwiches, delicious pastas, and tasty kebabs. Unwind on their cozy outdoor patio at their weekend champagne brunch, full menu, and weekly specials at oliveterracebarandgrill.com. Check out their full bar and happy hour daily specials in Valencia on Copper Hill and Newhall Ranch Road by LA Fitness. Olive Terrace Bar and Grill, delicious food seasoned with love.
A royal sweet
Royal Sweet Home Furnishings is celebrating its Memorial Day sale with 50% off the entire store through May 31st, featuring a 5-piece dining set for as low as $398, a 4-piece bedroom set, queen bed, dresser, mirror, and 1 nightstand at an unheard of $999, and a power module sectional for less than $2,000. Limited stock, so you gotta hurry. No interest financing on approved credit. Royal Sweet Home Furnishings in Center Point across from Sam's Club, or royalsweet.com.
Sweet dreams.
Reeves Complete Auto Center is open to handle service and repairs for your vehicle. With a 2-year, 24,000-mile parts and labor warranty, Dave Reeves and his team have been exceeding their customers' expectations for decades. Reeves Complete Auto Center is here for you on Soledad and Ruther. ReevesService.com. Reeves Complete Auto Center, caring about Santa Clarita and you.
Your hometown station.
Will you still need me? Will you still feed me when I'm 64?
Welcome back to the Senior Hour. I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host, Dr. Jean Dorio, on your hometown station, 98.1 FM, AM 1220, KHTS. And our in-studio guest now is the one and only Myles McNamara of Comfort Keepers in Home Care, a sponsor of the Senior Hour. It's so good to see you face to face.
Likewise. I've been calling in forever, and we're still only hearing Dr. Jean, but it's good to be here.
Yeah.
I forgot I had to use my GPS to get here. But it's awesome to be here in person. Not that I won't. I'm going to reserve the right to call in the future, but I definitely wanted to come in today and say hi and do it in person.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, thank you,
Especially
Myles.
since you are a sponsor.
Yep. Oh, gosh, what has it been? Well, I mean, not for the folks that don't know, we used to be the Three Amigos. Eugene and I used to co-host this show together.
Yes, that's true. That's right.
Yep. Yeah.
My goodness.
That
Where
was-
does the time go?
Yeah, that was
Ooh,
a
the
long time
older I
ago.
get, the faster it goes.
I know, right? Well, we got a lot to talk about today. So, if you don't, the first thing I want to make an announcement of, very proud. I'm going to talk about it next month too, because it's the actual. But Comfort Keepers in Home Care, we're celebrating our 20th anniversary of caring for
that's
seniors here in Santa Clarita in their own home. 20 years, 2 decades.
Wow.
How many days?
Congratulations, Myles.
Thank you. So yeah, that's a great milestone, and didn't know and still don't know exactly because I celebrated my 10th anniversary in the parking lot of our building on Lyons Avenue with a chamber event. I sponsored
Yes,
one of
I
their
remember
events.
that.
So not sure how we're going to celebrate our 20th with the restrictions. June's still a month away. If I have to postpone till July to officially have some kind of gala, but to mark our 20th year anniversary and all the amazing caregivers that I've had come through and the ranks and my team in the office. I also have an office in Encino. So yeah, it's a huge event for us. I don't know exactly how or the restrictions will keep us from celebrating, but prepare yourself.
Well, now, isn't the Senior Center honoring caregivers also?
Well, they should always be
This weekend.
honoring care. Yeah.
Yeah, this weekend.
Yeah.
This weekend.
With a
But
big
yeah,
function outside.
Caregiver Resource Day.
Yes.
We always have an annual caregiver. I feel like part of the Senior Center,
Yeah.
but the Senior Center always has an annual Caregiver Resource Day. We've talked about family caregivers in the past. That if you put $1 hourly wage on unpaid family caregiver, it's in the billions with a B. So it's a great resource center that, this year they're driving. I don't know if Kevin talked about it at the top of the show, but, they're doing a drive-through parking lot event that, to give people resources in the community, things like home care and other resources, the hospices and home healths and whatever resources are available for our seniors and especially our family caregivers. Because they deserve obviously more than a day of Caregiver Resource Day, but, it does provide the resources for the family caregiver. A lot of times, that old adage, you can't care for someone if you don't care for yourself. That's, it's
very true.
Cliches and tribes are there for a reason. I've said it in shows past that's why on an airplane, they give that announcement if, God forbid, those oxygen masks should drop. Put yours on first before you try to assist someone else because you'll pass out and then you're no good to anybody. And
That's right.
we see a lot of our family caregivers fall ill and bad health and actually pass before the person they've been caring for.
Yes, because being a caregiver is 24/7.
Yep.
In many, 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 many cases. And it's not an easy job. It
No,
really isn't.
and that's where we have a thing called I didn't invent the term, but there's a term called respite care because you do have those family caregivers. I mean, we are with some clients 24/7 or whatever schedule they need. But when the family caregiver just needs a break, a respite, to go out and play a round of golf or to go get their hair done or just to take a break, to take care of themselves. We do a lot of short, stints with what we call respite care where, the family caregiver can get out, relax, do something they enjoy. And the term is, we got this.
Yeah. That's a wonderful service. It really is.
Yeah.
It really is, because those caregivers do need a break.
Right.
Absolutely do need a break.
And a lot of times they're so focused on caring for their loved one, they don't realize that their own health is starting to deteriorate. I know Dr. Jean does home visits a lot. I'm sure you see it as much as we do, Dr. Jean. I mean, they're their blood pressure is high. They're not eating well. They're not high, and their health is deteriorating right in front of them, and they don't even realize it.
No, that's very true. And it's
And that is one of the things I talk about with the family to assure that the caregivers are receiving the support that they need. Because if they don't, Miles, you already know that then that the resident, the patient that we're trying to care for, their health goes downhill too. So it's total support. It's getting in there and making sure that everybody is high on the level of health and nutrition and hydration and all of that. And it's a hard thing. I know you teach your caregivers to recognize that in patients and families.
Right. Yeah, and it's and mental illness too. I mean, there's a depression that sets in. They're also restricted to the home as much as the person that they're caring for. So, mental illness, depression, isolation, everything that can affect our seniors also affects our family caregivers.
That's very true. I know, because I've been one.
Right.
And fortunately, I had long-term care insurance, which Russ fought me on, and I did it anyway.
Yeah, that's important.
But it was, because it paid for 2/3 of the total bill, and the total bill was enormous.
Yep.
Every month. But I first started having someone come in for Russ overnight, because I couldn't sleep on the couch.
I know, we were there.
Yeah.
I had to get relief at night so that I could go to bed and go to sleep.
Absolutely.
And know that he was taken care of.
Right.
And that's critical. It really is.
That's one of the hugest cycles that, our family caregivers aren't getting enough REM sleep, if not enough sleep at all, where they can go in, turn off the light, and get a good night's sleep knowing that their loved one's being looked after.
Yeah, it really made a difference.
And I grew up, who knew how, the circle of life comes for me is, I had no idea at the time, obviously, but I grew up in a household where my mother was the family caregiver for my grandmother, who had, dementia and Alzheimer's. And I saw the toll that it took on her. Looking back now, it didn't mean diddly squat to me at the time.
At the time.
But now that I look back and saw what she was going through as far as how her life was altered, her ability to leave the house, her ability, to function as a carefree individual was totally taken up by the caring for my grandmother 24/7.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Wow,
and
I wonder if that played a big role in what you're doing right now, Miles, and providing back the support that your mom gave to your grandmother.
Well, in the world of home care, certainly, when I started to recognize what home care was, because home care is relatively a new industry. It's only been around a little more than I have as far as, us celebrating our 20th anniversary. I think home care really came in around 25 years ago, maybe a little longer. I'm not sure who opened the door and had the first idea of the non-medical help that our seniors need, with their activities of daily living to function safely and remain in their own home. But yeah, I certainly recognized the signs when I was introduced to the world of home care and started looking at starting the Comfort Keepers franchise. And I'm like, wow, this all has a familiar ring to it.
It's probably what, unbeknownst to you, pushed you in that direction.
Well, it also makes, and we, obviously the first thing we do is when we do our initial assessment is the whole dynamic of the house. And we, from my perspective, living through it is to really focus on who's been providing the care up to this point and how are they doing, and a lot of times it's the adult child that is just so overwhelmed and, at wit's end on what to do next. So, so we really focus on that, when we're not there, who's caring for the senior that we care for, and then how is that person doing as far as their health and well-being?
Now, go ahead, Gene.
Ultimately, we're trying to keep our loved ones out of nursing homes. And look, it has been a catastrophe with at our nursing homes in the past year and a half, with many of our seniors contracting COVID and dying from it. So it's now even a greater goal for many of us to try to keep people that age in place. And by having comfort keepers, we are able to do that in a more orderly manner, an organized manner. With 20 years of experience, you and I both know, in working together, Miles, that we have been able to do that. We've yanked people from the edge of the cliff, pulled them back, and kept them in their homes to survive at home with their families and enjoy a physical and a psychological life that is conducive and attributable to their age and getting the life that they deserve. So, Miles, thank you for 20 years of doing what you're doing, because I tell you, if I didn't have you at my side being able to help those at home, my job would have been much harder, Miles. Thank you so much.
Well, and thanks for all you do. And it's really an important task to look at the family caregiver, referring back to the caregiver resource this day. So if any listeners out there, contact the Senior Center and find out, exactly about this drive-through caregiver resource day this weekend, because the resources are out there. And a lot of times folks are so unaware. They feel like they're on an island. They feel like they're, on their own.
Mm-hmm.
You'd be amazed how many times, folks would come up to me and say, if I knew you were around when Mom was alive 10 years ago, or if I knew that home care. So it's, and again, it's being a relatively new industry, and it sounds funny to say, being 20 plus years around that home care has been, but even physicians, unlike you, Dr. Gene, but a lot of physicians, they get confused the difference between home health and home care, and they don't have their head around what home care does. How it can, a lot of times how I can get doctors and hospitals' attention is we can really reduce readmissions back into the hospital when our seniors are transitioning back home from a hospital stay. And, of course, Dr. Gene, that for whatever reason, if someone is readmitted for the same reason to the hospital within 30 days, there are huge dings and penalties and non-payments to those hospitals, from Medicare and Medi-Cal and such. So, transitioning to home, not only from a safety standpoint, but, when you're coming home from the hospital, day is night, night's been day, the lights are always on, they're always coming in, and, they're taking your blood pressure. So you're not really getting that much rest, from days back when I spent some time in the hospital that we won't go into right now. It was, again, day is night, night is day. You just fall asleep. It's time to take your blood pressure. All needs to be done because they're monitoring your health on a 24/7 basis. And then, boom, you're discharged and you're at home. And if you don't have that support structure in place, or maybe, you don't have family that live in town, and, so now you're at home and nobody is looking out for you any longer. So, are you taking your medications on time? Are you following up with your doctor's appointments? Are you eating well? Are you doing all of the things that will prevent you from being readmitted and sent back to the hospital within a week, or sometimes within a day?
That's very true. And there's no place like home.
Hey, that's a great saying, Barb.
Yes, there's no place like home. And it's a very, very well-known
If only a gal named Dorothy would have said that.
There's no place like home.
Yeah.
And it is so true. It may be a cliche, but it is so true. And Russ didn't want to go into a home. No, absolutely not.
Yeah, and we get a lot of calls from folks who have tried that, and because again, our seniors thrive in their own homes where they've got decades of memories. Even if they, are suffering with cognitive challenges and stuff, the long-term memory's still there, so they know where they are. So if you displace them from that environment, you put them into a nursing home, or some folks try assisted livings, which is a great choice for some folks. We'll get a call from families that say, you know what, it's just not working. We're bringing mom or dad back home, so we need to put some home care in place, because they started to see, not only maybe they were very unhappy and they demanded, I want to go home, or they saw health deterioration was as exponential sometimes when you displace a senior from their home, and they gave assisted living or a nursing home a chance, and it's not working to their expectations, so they say, we're coming home and we'd like to set up home care. And I'm sure you see that a lot too, Dr. Jean.
Oh, yes.
Oh, absolutely. And embracing the idea of aging in place is critically important to our older adults in the coming years. And we do have in the state a new master plan for aging that will, over the next 5 to 10 years, will be implemented. And I know you, Miles, Barbara, will all be playing a role in assuring that our seniors are not going to nursing homes, are staying, living in place, and can live out their life in their own environment. So we have to work on this. And, as you saw in the newspaper today, there's $71 billion extra dollars in the state of California, and we as seniors have to try to obtain some of that to be able to keep seniors in their home, Miles, because we've been talking about how the insurances and Medicare should be responsible and help individuals with this, and hopefully we will start to see some of that start taking place.
Well, and you bring up an excellent point in that, our listeners, and we should get the word out there for seniors and their adult kids, is to call their representatives, because if they have that kind of a surplus, I mean, we've been lobbying for years that, home care should be paid for by insurance and Medicare and Medi-Cal, and it's not. There are some Medicare Advantage plans that are dipping their toe into the home care, because they are noticing that, hey, if we pay for some home care that first few weeks after discharge, they're not going to be readmitted back into the hospital. But by and large, I mean, I think that insurance should pay for home care. Unfortunately, right now, except for long-term care that Barbara mentioned earlier, it's private pay. And so you have seniors who want to stay in their home. They may not have the affordability to do so. And insurance should pick up that tab in that it is so preventative. It prevents slip and falls. It'll prevent, malnutrition, dehydration, mismanagement of meds. Easy for me to say.
Medication.
Yeah, medication. So hopefully, I would encourage people, call your representative, call Sacramento and say, why is non-medical home care not provided for preventative measures for our seniors to sustain their safety in their own home?
It seems to me that somebody should be doing something about it, and they're not.
Well, you have to legislate it, and that's the hard part. Now, Robin and I belong to the California senior legislation and legislators, and we have introduced a bill lately, just in the past month, to try to get certain aspects of health care put out there. But something like this we can do, Miles. We can put it together, Barbara. We can do this, if we have the right ideas, the right suggestions on how to do it. And there's always opponents many times to some of the things we want to do. But when we have the money, the extra money now, we should be working real hard to assure that our older adults get part of it to live better in life.
Well, and there should be things that aren't even, you don't need extra money to do certain things. There are certain things that should be part of the formula, whether there's extra money or not.
Absolutely.
I think this is one of them.
And let's talk about that when we come back, okay? We need to take a break. I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host, Dr. Jean Dorio, on your hometown station, 98.1 FM, AM 1220 KHTS.
Have you heard that you can attend college tuition-free for your first 2 years?
The Canyons Promise program at College of the Canyons can make that happen.
First-time, full-time students in fall 2021 are encouraged to sign up now for Canyons Promise.
Benefits include paid enrollment fees, access to program counselors, priority registration, and more.
Attend COC tuition-free.
Visit canyons.edu/promise now for information and important deadlines.
Canyons.edu/promise.
Hometown.
I don't think about you. Say something and say something. Just like fire. Burning up the world. Rock it like the world. Whatever it takes.
Your hometown station. 98.1 FM and AM 1220.
Great healthcare just got easier and more convenient in Canyon Country. Facey Canyon Country is now open directly off the Soledad Canyon exit off the 14 freeway. The 37,000 square foot clinic houses Facey Medical Group primary care physicians, pediatricians, and specialists. Facey has easy 24/7 online appointment scheduling for PCPs and PEDS. For more information or to make an appointment, visit facey.com. That's FACEY.com.
No words can describe the power of belonging to a group of close friends or being part of a family. Insight Treatment Center was founded more than 20 years ago to give teenagers a community of friends and family as they overcome issues like depression, anxiety, and trauma. The new Santa Clarita location is a COVID-secure environment where distance and good airflow are a priority. As a leader in providing intensive outpatient treatment to teenagers, Insight Treatment Center in Santa Clarita is here to help. Call 888-295-9995 or go online to insighttreatment.com.
It's like no other station I've ever listened to. It's great.
Your hometown station.
Will you still need me? Will you still feed me when I'm 64?
Welcome back to the Senior Hour. I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host, Dr. Jean Dorio, on your hometown station, 98.1 FM, AM 1220 KHTS. And we're speaking with one of the sponsors for the Senior Hour, Myles McNamara of Comfort Keepers in Home Care. And continue with what we were talking about before the break.
Well, I was babbling. Remind me where we were.
Well,
But no, we're talking about
the
seniors aging in place and staying home, and we just gotten into the topic, if I recall correctly, of that transition a lot of times when seniors have been in the hospital and they're coming home. And, you know, it's something that we've talked about, I think, many moons ago, but it bears repeating, is, and I certainly don't mean this disrespectful, I mean, it's just a way to phrase it, because we baby proof our house when we have new children, and we should senior proof our house if we have a senior coming home from the hospital, or actually on a daily basis, if you know, and as part of that safety check that we do when we do our initial assessment, that you should do a home safety checklist in your senior's home, and we have, and actually we were talking off air a little bit about, you know, Kaiser, who is actually starting to pay for a little bit of home care as they realize its benefit. And we have a really nice partnership with Kaiser. They've got a large footprint in the Southwest, as we know, and they did years of vetting, and they've actually chosen Comfort Keepers as their preferred provider of home care. So we have and Kaiser members get a 5% discount with us, and they also, but anybody, I mean, we would do this if anybody called and didn't want to start service just yet, but said, hey, would you come in and do a free home safety inspection for mom? And so we've got our checklist, and we do this as part of our initial startup of services anyway. But we go through, and there's things that you sometimes you just don't think about. That for if a senior is living independently at home, or if they have some care but they are home alone sometimes. I'll just go down the list here because I think it bears mentioning. Is something as simple that you might not work as the doorbell working. So if someone's at the front door, do they know that, and such? Are the locks working with, and are they easy access for our senior? Then, it's medicines. Are they properly stored? Are the expired medications, thrown away? If there's been a change in medication, and now, Dr. Jean, you certainly can attest to this, maybe now the new medication will not react well with the old medication, so it's important that old medication is thrown out. Are there proper handrails around any stairwells, going up and down the stairs? Carpet is because slip and falls are a huge part of what put our seniors in the hospital. The two most dangerous areas in the house, believe it or not, are the bathroom and the kitchen. That's where most of our slip and falls happen with our seniors. So, carpets are a lot of times are really bad for our seniors because sometimes they're with walkers or canes, and it's hard to navigate a walker on rug. But if you have tile floor, how big's the grout lines? How smoothly will a walker
How
go over
slippery
it?
is the floor?
And how slippery? Yeah. If there is carpet, is it secure? Are there loose edges? Is there trip hazards? What have you? Throw rugs are a big enemy of our seniors because they slip, we trip. Are they secure on the floor? Are there, you have the non-slip stuff under them. And then also, if something is to happen, is our emergency contact information, readily available? Should the EMTs or paramedics be called? Who are the emergency contacts? Do you have a DNR or do you have other medical instructions? It should be taped to the refrigerator or the back of the door or someplace where it's easily found by emergency response folks. Also, a personal response system, and we call them a PERS, Personal Emergency Response System. If they're home by themselves, I'm sure we've seen that commercial that has the famous tagline, "I've fallen and I can't get up." So if if for whatever reason something happens, it's you can wear it as a watch or a pendant, and you push that button, and it notifies the emergency response, and they'll come back on their speaker, and if you don't respond, then they will interpret that as an emergency and send somebody. And there's a whole different thing about setting that up because you want your profile there to know where the hide key is because the paramedics will break the door down. So you want to prevent that. So have the entry instructions for that emergency response system. But even like doorways, a lot of folks don't think, how high is that threshold? Every doorway has a threshold. How high is it? Is it trip hazard? Is it easy to navigate a walker up and over that threshold? Are there sharp corners if someone were to fall in areas? Padding and what have you, or take those sharp objects away.
I have rails. I had rails put up on either side of my entrance to my doorway.
Right.
A rail on one side and a rail on the other side, and I use it every single time.
Right, and I mentioned bathrooms being the highest, percentage of slip and falls is when folks are in the restroom. That's when you set your walker aside to do your business. So now, once you set that walker aside, it's very easy that we just naturally, when we do things, we reach out. If you were to feel unstable, there's just natural, okay, that's where a guardrail should be installed. Same with the shower. If you walk into the shower, there's the natural where you reach to put your hand up against the wall, put a handrail there. You can have those professionally installed. The toilet, they have, medical equipment that, if that toilet's so low, it's hard to get on and off of it. They've got extension, porta potties, if you will, that will sit directly over the toilet, and you can adjust the height so that it's easier to sit and get up once you sit down on the toilet. The guardrail, the safety handrails are huge. There should be one right in front of the toilet if possible. There should be one somewhere. And again, I go back to the accident I had years ago. I was able to live it. When I came out of the hospital, I could not walk. I was I was bedridden, and I graduated to a walker, then I graduated to crutches, then I graduated to a cane. So in my own home, we senior-proofed our downstairs bathroom because that's where I was during my recovery, and where we had to put the guardrails to pull myself up and off. And obviously, they have to be professionally installed because if you're putting it on drywall or what have you, and it's going to pull right out of the wall. That's going to make things worse. So to do that walkthrough in the bathroom, in the kitchen area, throughout the entire house, are electrical cords. Are there electrical cords strewn about? That can be trip hazards, and Mom, just pick up that walker and step over those cords. No, get rid of those cords. Especially the main walkways. I mean, are they wide enough for a walker? Are they doing a little tightrope to get through certain areas? A lot of times we'll do an assessment in the home, and I'm sure you've heard the term hoarding, and there's a lot of stuff just piled up everywhere, and there's this little pathway that is sort of navigated, and that's just an accident waiting to happen, and so again, that senior proofing your house, if you will, and that old saying, you don't see the forest for the trees. If it doesn't affect you, you don't notice it.
No, that's very true. Very true. You
So Myles,
really
if
don't.
people want to get a hold of you, how do we do that? What is your phone number?
I'm sorry, Gene. I forgot to put my earphones back on. What'd you say?
Well, what is your phone number, your contact information?
Oh, I'm right here on Lyons Avenue for the last 20 years. 661-287-4200, 661-287-4200, or just go to comfortkeepers.com.
Myles, great to have you on the show again. Super information, 287-4200. We are sponsored by Comfort Keepers In-Home Care, Santa Clarita Hearing Center. Listen to us next week on the Senior Hour. Now go and enhance your quality of life.